Welcome to my podcast, and you are on with Hassan. My name is Hassan, and welcome to On with Hassan podcast. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am a couple of different things, okay? So, number one, I am me. So I'm a regular person just like you are. Everyday average person. I am not anybody famous. I am not somebody who comes from money. And so therefore, the reason why I preface this is that you can see, I'm just like a regular commoner, just like you and I. Someone who walks the same walks of life as you do. Knowledge is key, basically. So there's nothing that I know that you couldn't have possibly have known, or maybe I just had different experiences than you. So with this podcast, I just bring things into perspective, bring in, knowledgeable information, and that could be from, various types of categories and that can widen the spectrum, and kind of relate to what you have going on in your life. Let me first give you a few key points as to what I'm all about. All right. So number one, I do hold a current job every day, just like the most of us on here, and I'm a banker. So with that just should tell you right there that I'm not, someone who is famous or a millionaire, because I wouldn't have to have a regular job every day. The other thing is that I do own a small business. It's an online like hobby more than anything, fashion and accessories, a little bit of makeup. In the last few years, I did try to establish my own makeup company. I did come out with like a line or a brand, and then it just over time, and then when COVID hit, that was kind of the end of it. The whole industry just seemed to boom at that time with people shopping online. And if you were, a little guy like me who's just getting started, you were going to get lost in the masses, right? But it was a great experience nonetheless, because I was able to formulate my own product. I did get it out there, and I sold out of like the 500 pieces that I started out with. That is not like, look what I did kind of scenario. It's just more so, again, to kind of like connect with you, to let you know if any of you guys out there are small businesses or who have struggled with small businesses, or trying to formulate a business, then I have pretty good knowledge with all the years of experience and leading up to the point of having, a makeup line, which then can help you understand that I have been through those experiences and can give you a little insight if you care to listen. But that's just one side of it. The rest of it is like fashion, apparel, accessories. A lot of trial and tribulations when it comes to owning your own business. And we're going to get into those things with, with podcasts to come in the future. We won't go into like every area of it. I just wanted to kind of give you, just a breakdown of the different type of things, what my background looks like. So working a regular 9 to 5, owning a little small business. I still do that, again, like a hobby more than anything. And I love the whole formulation and, making things and creating things that people love and like, so that way, there's a joy that comes from knowing that you did that and people liked your product. That's really all it comes down to. I never thought it was going to make me rich. It never did. But it's a creative hobby. Just a regular person. But I wanted to make a podcast that just basically focuses on the average day person, things that we all go through, things that we all, come across, and maybe just have like my own perspective on it. Some people it's going to resonate with and you're going to agree with me, and others, other people out there are not. So if you don't, that's okay. We don't all have the same, reasonings or the same knowledge, skills, or we don't always have to agree. If we don't like something or we don't agree with something, that just means you think different than I do. I'm a big analytics type person when it comes to either the business side or like my everyday life. With that said, I always dig into the deeper layers of what that thing is. So if it's business, I'm not looking at the surface of everything, like just going in with a positive mindset, although you should go with a positive mindset, but not only taking the positive out of everything. There's always an equation to everything you do. Doesn't matter what it is, 1 + 1 = 2. And that's kind of, how I live my life. There's always a beginning formula and there's always an end result. And you have to look at everything that way, because if you don't, it's going to more than likely not end up having a great outcome. Okay, let's get into some topics that I just want to introduce to you. Okay, so when it comes to YouTubers, there's a lot of drama channels, right? I do not want to be a drama channel, and I don't want to be focused on like a small niche. That's really why I'm here. It's kind of like being on TikTok, but having the long form content. Speaking of which, I tried TikTok. It's good for business. It really is. And I got to have a lot of followers from it when it comes to that. Not a lot, but like more followers than I had before. And it's a really nice creative outlet. So I don't know if some of you guys are on TikTok. I would imagine most of us are. But if you are or you're not, let me know in the comments if you have a TikTok channel. Share your TikTok handle and let us, ones that are here or that will come on here in time, come and follow you so that you could grow your network. I use it just for leisure, like fun. And then even when it comes to the business side, I get to be creative with like doing the content for my business. But honestly, I don't have any backing or like a team that does like fancy videos or anything. It's me like this, but showcasing it in a short form in the best way possible. But in time, I just knew that I'm more of a leader, which I kind of wanted to talk about too. So you're either in this world a leader or a follower, okay? It's just what it comes down to. It's okay to be either one. If you're a follower, it's not a weakness. It's not a weakness. But in life, there's more of the dominant type person that wants to lead in any area. We're not talking just relationships here. We're talking about every aspect of life, right? You're more of a leader. Like you're fully entitled to take control of your own life. You're fully entitled to take control of your own business. You're fully entitled to take control of anything that is you. Some people are going to say, well, a relationship is a part of you. It's not okay to control your relationship, okay? But I'm talking about like your individual self and everything that encompasses what you are, just you. It's okay to be in control of that. You should be in control of that. Other layers of it is you being attached to something else. So whether it's you being a part of a relationship, you being a part of a business relationship, you being a part of a company, right? So you are one person of many employees. Those things you cannot control. Those are areas it's called a relationship for a reason. You want to have the mindset that your ideology and your knowledge is not king, okay? You can be a leader in your area of expertise, but always have the open mind and the mindset that it's not just you in a company. It's called a company for a reason. There's no I in team, like they say. I know that sounds cliche, but they're cliches for a reason. They make sense. So in a company or in a relationship, there's more than one person that come together to come to an agreement. That's it. But when it comes to your life, you have to be in control of that. You have to be in control of that. You heard that, right? Like you can't put things in other people's hands to lead you to success. It doesn't matter if it's the number one person that loves you the most in this world, aside from yourself. You can't depend on someone else to make you successful, because the first thing you have to ask yourself, are they successful in the thing that you're doing? Doesn't mean that they're not a successful person in life, okay? But what you are doing or wanting to accomplish, are they doing that same thing? That's not a negative, but if they're not trying to be a business person in any aspect of the word, that doesn't make them a failure. That is not their journey. That is your journey. So are you going to put all your faith and all your, hopes and dreams in someone else to accomplish that for you, whether it's money, whether it's giving you the positive direction that you want to be in that day, or mindset that you want to be in that day? Are you looking for them to pay your bills? Are you looking for them to work for you? If you answered yes to any of these, and there's a lot of questions like these that you could have answered yes to, but just for an example, if you answered yes to a few of these questions, then you're not a leader. You're going in the direction where you want to be supported. But when it comes to wanting to be successful, wanting to grow anything in your life, okay, you have to be the leader and the dominant person within your own world there, okay, within your own self, to accomplish those things, to get to that optimum level of success. If you are not taking the steps to do that, then how do you ever get there? Okay. How do you want to run before you walk? Okay. How do you want to make millions if you're not making hundreds of thousands? How do you want to make hundreds of thousands if you're not making hundreds, right? So it's all time management, and it's all like statistics, and you have to have a plan behind it, and you have to be disciplined in the type of life style that you want to live. So let me explain that. So if you want a certain type of lifestyle, you have to take the certain measures and the certain behaviors in order to get to that level of success. It doesn't have to be on the highest level of success. Doesn't have to mean money. It could just be, I want to be successful in waking up every day on time. Okay, are you waking up late on time? Why? What did you do a night before? What have you been doing to keep getting up late? Are you staying up watching Netflix or TV till, midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, etc.? So if that's what you're doing, that's what you need to stop doing. And if you know that already, which I would imagine you do, why haven't you stopped doing that in order to reach that result that you're telling yourself every day? I need to stop doing this, but you're not taking the action. You're not taking the action. So that is just on the, on the minute level of an example. But like, think about business. You want to have your own business, right? How are you going to have your own business and afford to open your own business, whether it's online or physical brick and mortar place? How do you want to do that if you don't have any savings? Those are like, you see how they're like building blocks to get to that final result. And if you're not doing that, if you're not putting the behaviors in place, how do you expect to get to that final, point of success? You're not. It's just a math equation. Again, 1 + 1 = 2. So before you blame the world and you blame certain individuals, and then you blame yourself, more importantly, don't lead with negativity. I always look at the positive and negative in outcomes, but you have to practice a positive mindset to go into something. So if you're telling yourself, I'm never going to be able to wake up, you just filled your mind with negativity, and now you're telling yourself you can't do something because you don't want to do that thing, or because you're not ready to do that thing. So I'm not here to tell you that you are a bad person because you are not doing this. No. All I'm saying is, you can do whatever you want to do. Obviously, you could do whatever it is that you want to do. You could be complacent in the place that you are in life, but you can't always point the finger or point the blame at somebody or something else and then say it's not fair. I'm not getting this out of it. I'm not getting what I deserve. For you to get what you deserve, you have to take every aspect of possibilities that you can achieve first before you start thinking, what am I doing wrong here? Okay, so it all starts with up here. Are you putting the right tools, right? Are you in the right mindset? Are you taking the right steps to get to the next step first before you go to the next one and the next one? And if the answer is no, then there's the conflict. We're not going to call it anything like bad. It's a conflict because you're not allowing yourself to get there. So remove that conflict and you're going to be able to achieve that. I mentioned I work in banking, and the reason I mentioned that is because I talk to a lot of people when it comes to their financial well-being and setting up themselves for financial freedom going forward in life. And we talk about investments, we talk about personal finances, we talk about business, all kinds of stuff. And I'm not going to get into like the verbiage and the policies and procedures every single day. I just take the key factors that is knowledge that can be implemented into your everyday life that you can use for yourself to utilize and to manifest on it and put that energy out there so that you can receive those positive results. Okay. So just a quick example on Banking 101. You want to teach people to kind of change their mindset so that the habits they put into something will result in a positive. So if you're having challenges, increase our credit score, and that's usually a big one for a lot of people out there. They have a low credit score. What are you doing to get to a higher credit score? There are different things you can do to get to that. People are gonna be like, I don't have the money to pay this card. I don't have the money to pay this bill. I don't, whatever. So those are the things that is keeping you from getting a higher score. That's paying something off is not the only way to get a higher credit score. So we look at all the areas of what is attached to the credit score. What are all those things in your life like? Which ones can be, which ones can be achieved quickly? Which one needs time? And we set goals within that time to get to this, that. And then at the end of it all, you're going to achieve the result, which is a higher credit score. And that's how you have to start. You have to start by doing the baby steps. It's, I guess, another word for it is like a snowball effect. No one wants to take the snowball effect to get to what they want or need because they want instant gratification. Just get straight to the end result. Nothing was built in a day. Nothing was, made that way to be. You have to put in the behaviors and the little baby steps to get to the bigger steps to get to the final result. All right, so I think I proved my point when it comes to, structure, right? Structuralism. That is very important to have up here and then in your actions every single day, right? So that's what we zoned in on here. So the next thing is, let's get into different areas that you guys would like more concentration on. Okay, so if it's finances in general, or if it's certain areas within your personal life that you are trying to achieve, let's talk about it. I'm the type of person who, no matter how much knowledge I have in something, I am not the most knowledgeable person in that field, because I am not here to tell you that I have a degree in therapy, I have a degree or a master's in finance, nothing like that. It's just everyday life that has gotten me to be debt free. The only debt that I have is my car. That's it. And the reason it's only me. I don't have family paying my bills. I don't have somebody else paying my bills. I was in debt before, and I woke up one day and I said, I am not going to live this life anymore. I am not going to be living paycheck to paycheck. And by the time I pay something, I'm already in debt again. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So what did I need to do? There were, debt, obviously, bills and credit cards and etc. And I needed to lower those. And we can, because if you think about it, when we want something, we find a way to get it, whether it's an article of clothing or any item in general that we want, not necessarily need, but we want it, we find a way to get it. If we're broke and we can't afford an outfit for the whole amount, we use a credit card. If we don't have a credit card to use and we don't have money, we go into these systems that like break down the payments into 4 payments so that we're able to at least make the first payment to get that outfit. We always find a way to get what we want in any way possible. We look for a sale, we look for a deal, we look. So the same way you do that on just like that smaller scale of like attaining something that you want, why not want to be debt free? Why not want to lower your debt or your expenses? And once you say up here, that's what I need to do and that's what I want to do, you've already started, because now your mind is set on it. But you have to lock in. That is the key word. Lock it into place and then take the first action. First action is, how much is my debt total? If you ask yourself that, you might not know that. You just might know you have a lot of bills and a lot of debt. You don't know how much you owe. Okay, well, you see, if you took the first step, that doesn't cost you anything. You can go and put that on pen and paper, calculator, whatever it is, an app, and evaluate what your debt is. Now you know how much you have to pay off. You see that big number, now it's scaring you to death, right? So you're like, I'm never going to pay that off. Why are you doing that to yourself? That's a question from me to you. Why are you doing that to yourself? Because you saw a big number, now you just automatically can't do it. You think you're the only person in this world that has that much debt. The next person has more debt than you do. Trust me. So millionaires have had more debt than you guys have, but they decided to still take a risk in order to achieve being debt free and then being millionaires, because they decided to take a risk somewhere. But that didn't come with just paying off debt. That came with, I need to lower my debt to be able to take a risk, because risk is important. Okay, you shouldn't take unreasonable risks. That's going to set you behind. But you can take risks, like studied risks, risks that you've put analytics and you put research into. You've studied the market, you've studied the whatever research you needed to attain that thing you're going to buy, so to make money off of it. You can't just go, oh, I love dogs, so I'm just going to open a dog walking business in this area because everybody loves dogs and that's just going to make money. Great business plan. Great business plan. Like, you see, you sold yourself short there. You sold yourself short. You didn't go into researching the market. You didn't go in saying, okay, well, I know I love dogs and I know that there's a great location, because I've been doing my research as to, what on locations and where would be like a key location for this type of business. Then you looked into the competition. Did you look to see if there's any of those places in that area? From that, what are they doing in their business, and are you going to open the exact same thing as their business? And is that going to set you apart from theirs? And if not, they're already established. So how are you planning on getting the customers if they're already offering that service? You see, there's questions, there's layers behind getting from point A to Z. You have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you got to do those things, because if you come across a conflict, right, a challenge, let's call it, then you're gonna be like, wait a minute, I thought of this, I knew this might have been a possibility, so here's what I'm gonna do. Then you have execution plan A and B and C. So you have to think like that. You have to think like that, because if you don't, then you're gonna go from A to back to zero, and then debt, right? So A, B, back to A, and then debt. A, B, C, then back to B, A, and then debt. We don't want to do that, because now you're not getting ahead. Now you have more debt than you started out with, because you thought, well, I have to take a risk to succeed. It's not, don't be fooled by just like what you hear. Don't take things that you hear and run with it. You have to understand what it is that they're saying within that message. Not everybody is offering you this time that I'm giving you right now. They're not sitting with you, giving you all the different areas that got them from point A to point Z, because they're charging you a course for that, right? They're charging you a fee to learn that knowledge. They're not going to give you all that knowledge, because they have to go broke before they were able to be financially free and be able to maintain an income out of what they're doing. You think they're going to offer it to you for free? They're not. Because if everybody was doing that, everybody would be in business and everybody would be rich. But this is not the type of world we live in today. We live in a world where, how do I monetize something? How do I charge for something in order to get myself in the financial areas of freedom, right? So with that said, keep that in mind. Keep those things like at the top of your head when you're going into anything. Make sure you do your research, you study it. Make sure you know what you're dealing with. Make sure you know the competition. So that's my take on business 101. No matter what it is, we used examples just to kind of give you the idea, but it's not just that. It's not just that. It's if you're not in business at all, you can relate this to your everyday life, going into your work day, going into taking care of your kids. If you're not working, it doesn't mean you have to be in business to follow these methods. Okay, these are just healthy ways of thinking, because if you don't think that way, you're going to end up putting yourself in a negative, dark space that you can't eventually get out of, because they've built up so much and you haven't put anything into the process of trying to eliminate yourself from that dark spot, right? So anyways, that is my take on how my mind works, how my podcast is going to be structured around like giving you the analytics around different areas that we come across as regular people every single day. We'll do like different topics. It's not always gonna be focused on business. I just love business, and I love like retail and marketing and advertising, and we're not here to try to open a business in those areas. We're not here to for me to sell you like a business plan or anything like that. I'm just here to give you an idea of what I do, so that way, if you have an interest in that, you're going to have some kind of interest to come back and listen to my podcast. But it's something that you want to learn. You're gonna see me and other people kind of exchanging knowledge and information that you might be able to pick up on, utilize as well. And knowledge is power. Knowledge is key. So if it's something you don't know, you might be able to figure it out just by listening to other people like myself who come on here and give you free information. Leave you on that note. We will come back and do other type of content. We'll cover other things, but thank you for sharing your time with me on my first podcast, and I'll see you guys on the next one.